Now, this is one spread. So let's talk a little bit about what you are going to do for your actual document, right? So let's take a look at this for a moment. This is where you're going to go with this. So we've got a front cover and then an inside front cover and then a page 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inside back cover and the back cover. Total 12 pages. Okay, so the front cover's all by itself, back cover's all by itself. And this is not what you would do if you were actually laying this out to actually print a document. That's a whole nother story for another game. We'll get into that in Mat 185 layout and design. For this project, this is all we need because we're going to create a simple PDF document. So if we think about what happens when you open up the front cover, right? You see the inside of the front cover because the front cover is technically over here. I'm going to just dink around with this for a moment. Okay, so if I open that up, right, the front cover flips open and that's now the inside, right? So now the inside cover and page 1 are where you'll put your content for your movement. So basically this is, the history of the movement, how it got started, who the main players were, and so on and so forth. You can continue that story on the inside back cover spread. Okay, and then the back cover is open. You can also on inside here, in case you don't have enough to put on here, and honestly, it's better to have white space and let it continue on the back page. That's way better than having everything cramped and crowded on the first 2 pages, right? So you can also put any sources that you've used. For example, if you copied text from Wikipedia or, the images that you got, where did they come from? If they are from Google Images or so on. And then you will also, if you are using, and you probably will be using copyrighted work, there is that disclaimer that is on the class website, which you'll want to post on the back, inside back cover or on the back cover. It could be either place. Okay, so this spread right here is your first artist. This spread is your second artist. This spread is your third artist, right? And then you've got, like I said, the rest of your story in the back cover, which is open, okay? So that's how we do this. How do you lay it out? Let's make a new document. You go to a new document. It's going to be a print document. You see I've got my dimensions, 8.5, 8.5 inches, right? I'm making 14 artboards. And the reason why is we have 12 pages, but we got to nick one off because what will happen is it's going to look like this. I'm going to just zip over here for a moment. And I know I'm jumping around a lot, but this is what it will look like when it's all said and done. Okay, when we export this as a PDF, we'll have a front cover, but we'll also go into the view and we'll use the 2 pages option. And then what will happen is that when we go, it'll open up the inside cover in page 1, and then page 2, and then page 4 and 5, 6, 7. These are our artists. 7 and 8, or 8 and 9 are the inside back cover, and then the back cover. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. Front cover, inside front cover in page 1, first artist, second artist, third artist, the rest of your story, open back cover. Okay, so how do we lay that out? I'm going to hide that. Let's go back to Illustrator. We're going to use 14 artboards because we need to delete 2 in order for our numbering system to work. Let's use RGB color. Most output places want to do that. Let's scroll down till it says more settings. Click on that. And we want to lay out the artboards a little bit more carefully. This is where we do that. Okay, so we're putting in 14 artboards. We're going to use this very first option right here, which is basically telling the order of the artboards when we export. Okay, we're going to use 2 columns. Okay, and I like a 1/10 inch spacing in between. You can have more or less, but I like to have a little bit of space between my artboards, but not so much that it destroys the concept of the spread. Okay, you can check your width and height here again if you want to. We're going to set our raster to 150. And the reason why is because when you print, it'll normally be a laser printer, and 150 pixels per inch is what laser printers like. You could go to come on. Zoom out here a minute. You could go to high 300, but that would only be if you were going to offset lithography. And if you do it at screen 72, if you ever do print it, it'll look like crap. Okay, so let's use 150, all right? And then we'll create the document. Okay, so I'm going to hit create document, bam. Okay, so now, you see I've got all these artboards, right? But because we want to have the cover and the 2 pages, we need to delete 2 of these. So you just select that artboard and make sure that you're in the artboard selection tool in case you weren't. Okay, so that's artboard tool right there. So click that, click artboard 2, delete it, click artboard 13, delete it. And then you can grab artboard 1 and scoot it to the middle. You don't need to do this. I just like to. You can leave it where it's at. It doesn't really matter, but I just kind of like to do that. Okay. Okay, so now your document is set up. If you want to add page 1 and page 2 and all that kind of stuff, you can do that. Remember, when you're editing your artboard, you're editing artboard, right? You can see all your artboard numbers there. So to get out of that, just click your selection tool and you're good to go. Okay, so it's not a bad idea to put this stuff in there just so that you have it all sort of there and you delete everything as you go along. Okay, so this is how you set the document up. So let's go back to my original artwork. Okay, I got stuff turned off, right?